We are so pleased and very excited to have you with us here in the International Space Women panel. We actually have people from all over the world. So, good morning, America. Muy buenas tardes a las hispanoparlantes. Buonasera y bonsoir, Europe. ערב טוב וחג חנוכה שמח לכל החברות שלנו מישראל שהצטרפו לשידור הערב וכיבדו אותנו בנוכחותם. And last but not least, salam alaikum ومساء الخير سيداتي وسيداتي to all our friends from the United Arab Emirates that I'm so excited to have you tonight. And I heard that we have people from Australia also. So for you, it's something like 5 a.m. in the morning. So respect. We really appreciate that you're being here. Tonight is actually Hanukkah Eve in Israel. This is a holiday of miracles and light. And the presence of all of you here for me is not just a little miracle, but a big, huge miracle and a lot of light. And I hope we are going to spread light for all of you. Our space is a space community I have founded, and it was a dream I wanted to fulfill for a long time. I will tell you all about it, but first let me represent the special super wonder woman that you are going to meet today. So you have from the United States, Shelli Brunswick. She's the Chief Operating Officer of Space Foundation. She actually came from a military career. Lieutenant Colonel, if I'm not mistaken. And she is an ambassador of the Women Tech Network. And she just won a few days ago. We brought her good luck, and she was nominated and she won the first prize as a role model for all the good things that she's doing to promote women and other weak populations. And she's also serving as a mentor in the UN Space for Women. Then we have from Israel a great pride, Dr. Shimrit Maman, that she just recently appointed to be the head of the UN Spider RSO, and she's going to tell you what is it all about. She's coming from the academy, and she is a research associate and a director of the EPIF. She will also explain what it means. And she's also a mentor in the UN for the Space for Women. And from Dubai, we have Malak that I personally was very excited to meet, because just recently our countries, Israel and the United Arab Emirates, signed a normalization contract. So it's not taking for granted that we can talk. If you would have told me that 6 months ago I will be talking and having friends in Dubai, it was like a dream. And it means that people can be good friends regardless of what governments think or do, or people who consider themselves, you know, even enemies countries, which we weren't, but we didn't have any relationship. But it's very nice to have. And me, your moderator, Sharon, and I'm from Israel. Nice to meet you. And let's start. What do we have today on the menu? So first, the first part, we're going to start with presentations and free talk of the three marvelous, extraordinary women that came in, dedicated a lot of thought and time and effort and energies to make this evening a wonderful experience and a very useful one. We limited to 45 minutes just to keep the flow of the event, but don't worry, because you're going to have lots of questions. I sure do. So you have a place, you can write them in the chat downstairs in the Zoom. And please note which country are you from, because we are having people from all over the world, and it's really a great pride, and we would like to know and to share. And we will having this discussion in English, so I hope everybody is okay with that. And if you need any translation or help or something, so afterwards we can help. And special thanks to our astrophysicist and nanosatellite expert, Dr.Ana. She is our super technician tonight, and she volunteered, and really I really appreciate it. And the best thing is that you don't have to note anything, because we are going to send you post-event everything to your mail, all the important addresses and all the important links. And on the special, on the second part of the evening, we have the QA session, all the questions and answers. We are going to read them. And please, if you can ask general questions that are in the interest of everybody. Private questions you can send as well, but you can also send them afterwards to the mail that we will deliver, and we will answer after this broadcast. What else? Let's go. So who am I? Well, I'm Sharon. I won't tell you all my CV because we're going to be 100 years. And just in a brief, first of all, I see myself as a people person, an international business developer. I'm a thinker and a doer. I have a very wide range of things that I did and I do. I'm a multidisciplinary by definition, and I studied the law. I'm a jurist. I studied in Israel. I finished with a diploma of honor. I gave it to my mother. She never overcame. She still hoped that I will be a lawyer because she's a Jewish mom, but I won't. I just left her the diploma and I went to Barcelona to do what I wanted. And there I finished to be an industrial designer. I was almost a decade in Barcelona. It was a wonderful experience, and I came back to Israel and understood that I have nothing to do with this title because no job around here. So for the last 10 years, I've been doing a lot of business development, and I handled many projects and many communities of professionals for importers around the country. I speak many languages. I speak Hebrew, English, Spanish, and some Italian and some other languages. And usually I used to work with people from abroad. What else? Many people here are, I suppose, are members in our space, international space community. And this is a dream actually generated because I love black holes since I was 15. But when I was younger, space wasn't even a possibility. It wasn't a profession. It wasn't a position, you know. Go study something real, be a doctor, be a lawyer, do something meaningful with your life and keep it as a hobby. So it was never an issue. It was a hobby, something that I loved. And when the time came and I finished to fulfill all the things that I had to fulfill and to study everything that I had to study, I said, okay, now I want to do what it's really interesting for me. And I want to enter to the space business because I know a lot about it. And I want to do what makes me happy. And I started to open the circle. And it wasn't easy because when you're coming from the outside, the circles are closed and people look at you and say, yeah, wow, you're overqualified. You have a lot of qualifications, but well, you're not a space engineer and you didn't learn how to build satellites, and you have a technical understanding, a very deep one, but it's not enough. So you find barriers all over the place. And in other places, why am I showing you my CV? Because it doesn't matter what I did. I always came to this barrier that say, yeah, you're multidisciplinary. It's like overqualified for us. And overqualified is something they usually say when it's like a washed word to say we don't want to pay too much. So I met this word too many times in my life, and I decided to do what I wanted really to do to fulfill my dream. And I just started because when they told me you can't, I said, well, I know I can, and I don't need a permission from anybody. You have to be a go-getter. So I just started the initiative to open a space community. I started like a local little idea, little dream. I started in Hebrew. I started to translate from all over the world a lot of material, information and studies for people in Hebrew. And since I speak other languages and I have a lot of friends abroad, and I published, they said, please, can you translate to other languages? So started to translate to English, then to Spanish. And then I grew up and grew up and grew up. And today, this is one of the strongest international communities. Super interesting. I just open it for the members because we have very professional, non-professional, space addicted, and everything that happen around the globe, we see immediately. So it's adjusting it all the time. It's updating itself. And it's very, very interesting. And we have people from all over the ecosystem, the space ecosystem and the innovation ecosystem. And it keeps growing on a daily basis. Actually, there are 3 pages. It's not just the community, it's a community page. The community is closed now, but for you as a privilege, I will send after it the address for the business page. So you just have to press a like, and then I can open the community for you and will send you an invitation to join. What else? I was very curious to say that when they say that ladies and girls, they are not into space like the boys. And I said, okay, I want to check it in my own community. And I just went to scroll the data. And what I find is that, yes, I have people from all over the place. I have on corners in the world, I didn't even know that it existed. You can see by yourself from all over, from all continents. We have representation. This is just 1 page. I have 3 more. So what is the percentage of the girls, the members? 24%. And this is a lot in comparison to other places. And this surprises me. Why? Why? Because girls, they don't like space, because they don't like innovation, because they don't like what is new and exciting in the universe. It can't be. So I continue to investigate more. And this is actually what the story is all about. It's the race of life. It's the biases of the society. People telling you, what's the matter? It's the same distance, can you run? But actually what we find in front of us are many and many obstacles and barriers we have to cross, okay? And sometimes the barriers are things that we're telling ourselves, like, I can't, or somebody tell you, you cannot, and you believe, okay, I can't. We have gender gaps between us, and they're just getting, and they're growing. Now we are in the step of the new age, the new space age. Private people are going to space, but how many billionaire women do you know? So if only men could enable themselves going to outer space, what will happen with the women? So the gap is just going to grow. We have to do something about it, and doing something about it is pushing and promoting girls to go to learn STEM disciplines. And not only, but this will open the gates to get better positions, better salaries, and to choose their own future, that nobody will dictate them. And another thing, I am not going to read everything over here. You can read by yourself, and we have specialists to solve those problems. But one thing I want to address is not just men are the problem. Women are also part of the problem. Women that step over other women, women that can but don't promote other women. This is really a severe problem. Think by yourself, be honest with yourself. How many times in your life were you tripped by a woman, by a bitchy boss, or by a friend? And how many times did you prevent? You could help somebody else, but you prevented from another woman to succeed, to promote. I think this is something we have to change between us sisters. We have to have this brotherhood, sisterhood, or how do you call it, and to help each other, because this is the only way. Only united we can have strength and force to change the reality. This is the only thing that will promote us, and we will get to where we want to get, because today it's me, tomorrow it's your sister or your mother or any other friends. And keep it in mind. For me, it's a very important thing and a very important message. And let's go on. These things also reflects in the industry, in the space industry. How many space explorers are women? Look at the data. This is really upsetting. In UK, 50%, Canada, Japan. So the orange one are the women, the percentage, okay? In the US, how many people the US launched to space? Only those, this line and the little one is women launched into space. In France, we have here just 10, and USSR the same. So the situation is not right. It's something that requires a change. And there are countries that launch people into space, men only, my country included. We are waiting to see a female astronaut. And these are all the countries that launched, and 0% of women were launched into space. We have to change this. So what can we do about it? I'm not going to solve it. For this, we have our special super ladies, super space ladies. But I wanted to bring this because these are things that really engraved in my mind, and I wanted to share them with you. So we have Sally Ride. She was the first American astronaut. And she said, if you want scientists and engineers in the future, we should be cultivating the girls as much as the boys, okay? We shouldn't separate them. And another astronaut, Nicole Stout, that we just heard recently, she gave a talk for Israeli Space Addicted. And she said something that really got my mind. She said, don't catch up in the negativity, keep going forward. And I want to add, don't let anybody tell you that you can't, that you were never meant to do this job. If this is your dream and you believe that you have to do it, and it doesn't matter to be a scientist, to be a spacewoman, to do whatever you want to do it. This is your life, and human life is very short. Fulfill your dreams, what you have to do. And perseverance is the only way to deal with it. Find someone that will believe in you and will give you the strength. And this is the contact details, but again, you don't have to note anything. From here on, we are moving to Shelli. And Shelli, she's going to tell us much more about it. So Shelli, please, I will stop my share and the stage is yours.
Well, thank you, Sharon. It's an honor to be joining you today, as well as Anna. I'm thrilled with participating with you. You're amazing, and Malak and Shimrit. I'm really excited, and I'm looking forward to the mystery panelists that are coming up in the next hour. So don't go anywhere. This is going to be an exciting activity. Sharon, thank you for sharing your journey and your goals and your passions and why you're committed to advancing women and space technology and how it benefits humanity. So I thought I would go ahead and share my journey, as well as what is the Space Foundation and how are we working to include more diversity women in the global space community. So as Sharon shared with you, I like to share that my story has 3 chapters. I enlisted in the US Air Force right out of high school, and I had the great opportunity to be stationed in Turkey and Germany, and then in beautiful Colorado Springs. And while I was enlisted, I was serving my country during the day, but at night I went to school and completed my bachelor's degree, and I applied to become an officer in the US Air Force. And fortunately, I was selected and accepted, and I became a space acquisition officer. So that's when I transitioned into the space community, when I became a space acquisition officer. And I was stationed at the Space and Missile Systems Center, learning about ground segments and launch segments and orbits, satellites. And at that time, you have to really think about it, that was really the only way you could participate in the space economy. You had to work for a government agency. you had to work for a contractor that provided support to a government agency, whether that was a NASA, a civil agency, or a military agency like the Air Force. And that was the same in other countries, China, Russia, and a few others. Then as I started that second part of my career as an officer in the Air Force, I was stationed at the Space and Missile Systems Center. I also taught, I was a professor at Defense Acquisition University, where I taught about the space life cycle, project management, and how space was a little different. And then my final 5 years in the Air Force, I worked on Capitol Hill as a budget and appropriations liaison, securing the budget for the US Air Force and in subsequent, the space budget. But during that time, space has really changed. So again, it started really more government, civil, military, and now, as you can see from the time I started in the military to where we are today, it's become very commercialized. And that has started the third part of my journey. When I retired from the Air Force, I came to work at the Space Foundation. And I am the Chief Operating Officer, as well as the Executive Leader for our Center for Innovation and Education. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Space Foundation, our mission is to inspire, educate, connect, and advocate on behalf of the global space community. So we are a US nonprofit, but we do business internationally. And we have been in business 37 years. And we have three main pillars of our business. Space awareness, and that's what I'm doing today, coming out and sharing with you the opportunities that are in the space community and how you can be aware of them. Also, how space impacts our lives every day and makes it better. So that's one pillar, space awareness. Another pillar of the Space Foundation is service to the space community. And we do that every year when we bring the global space community together in Colorado Springs for our annual Space Symposium, which in 2019 brought together 15,000 people, our closest friends from around the world. Now, obviously, due to COVID, we did not do an in-person event this year. We will be holding our next in-person event, August 2021, 22 to 26 August. So we hope if you're available and you want to visit Colorado Springs and the vaccine is out by then for COVID, we hope to host you here in Colorado Springs. In the interim, though, we launched our online platform called Space Symposium 365, which is a year-long program that's virtual and allows all of us to continue to connect and network, learn, and do business development. So we'll be having an event even tomorrow. So that really is in that pillar of the Space Foundation that we call service to the space community. How are we helping individuals and companies that are in the space community today? And our third pillar, and this is the one I'll talk the most about today, is our education pillar. And that's where we offer programs for the workforce. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But many of you are joining and you heard Sharon share how exciting space is and space is for girls. But how many of you really know what the global space economy is and what are your avenues to access it? So just so everyone understands, what is the global space community? Right now, the global space economy is $424 billion. And that is going to grow $1 to $3 trillion in the next 10 to 20 years. Bank of America came out in November and said they predict the global space economy to be $1.4 trillion by 2030. So that's a big number. And what does that mean? Well, in the US, what that means is for the US global space economy, 80% is commercial. Now, you remember when I started telling you about my journey starting in the Air Force, and that was back in the 80s, that to be part of the space community, you really had to work in a government agency or you worked for a contractor that provided services to that government agency. There was not commercialization. And over the last 30 and 40 years, you have seen the transition to where now space is globalized. So where it was maybe a handful of countries, now it's over 80 nations participate in the space economy in one form or another. It now is commercialized. You know, in the US, we look to commercial companies, not just for the great things they're doing in the commercial arena, but also now for the government agencies. NASA with the Artemis Accord is looking at commercial technology. You know, you saw that they're using SpaceX. They just did a test flight yesterday. They did another launch this week. Satellites they're putting up for internet. They're resupplying the International Space Station. So commercial company is now doing that. And so you can look at how commercial, that segment, the launch segment, but space is part of this other segment that includes 16 areas of technology that include the Internet of Things, finance, education, public safety, transportation, agriculture. There's nothing you did today that does not require space. This event would not be possible without space technology. So I highlight that space technology is now part of a global ecosystem that we all benefit from every day. And with technology transfer from the space arena into the commercial sector, that is how that global space economy is going to grow from 424 billion to the 1 to 3 trillion. And you can just look at GPS, Global Positioning System, a service that was provided free of charge by the US government that now runs since 1983 about $1.3 trillion worth of economic impact. So whether somebody created an app, Uber, Airbnb, they probably do not realize that they're running their computer on the infrastructure of space. But that $1.3 billion that's contributing to GDP, not just in the US, but around the world, is running on the infrastructure, that critical infrastructure of space. So now that you understand what the space economy is, how it's going to grow, what the emerging technologies are, whether you want to be in the launch industry and be an astronaut, or whether you want to be in data analytics, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, miniaturization, cyber, robotics, artificial intelligence, etc. There's an opportunity for you. That's the part that's the most challenging part over the next 10 to 20 years, is where is the workforce to fill these jobs for this growing space economy? And we need jobs throughout the workforce, STEM and non-STEM, PhDs, as well as high school graduates to fill the various jobs. And who's going to need all these jobs? Well, we all need them. The government agencies need them, but also companies need that talent to do their job, not just at the upper levels of the companies, but also throughout the entire supply chain, the transportation system, food service, throughout that supply chain. So there's never been a better time to look to the space industry because it is growing, it is exciting, it is commercial. And the other great thing that's happening is it is diverse and it's welcoming to women. So I did post in the chat a few opportunities. I know Sharon shared her story. And, you know, again, as the space industry is becoming more commercial, we're going to look at opportunities to bring more diversity and women in. So panels like this today help break down barriers that prevent women and minorities to come into the space industry. There are other groups you can join to help you on this journey, whether it's joining Sharon's group. The Space Foundation has our New Generation Young Professional Leadership. We also have an entrepreneurship program that you can take webinars. There's Women Tech Network, which is an international organization. The UN Space for Women helps provide mentors. So there are opportunities for you to find a place in the space economy. The Space Foundation, we have a 5-phase workforce development roadmap, and I'll run through it quickly and then I'll let the next panelist speak. But the first step about understanding about how to be in the space economy is space awareness. And again, that's what today is all about. How do we get the message out that you can be part of the space economy and that there is an opportunity for you, whether it's a PhD and you want to be an astronaut, you want to be a business professional, you want to be an artist, you want to be an entrepreneur, and fashion design. I did a podcast earlier this week for fashion because technologies are being developed for the space industry that are eventually going to transition into the fashion industry, healthcare. So I need an entire workforce. So we need to do awareness. Then the next question is, how do you access this market? Well, as we said, these are great opportunities, whether you join Sharon's group or Women Tech Network or the Space Foundation's Space Symposium 365, you start to look for an access point into the space economy that you're interested in. The third step is, even if you want to be in the space industry, we all have to have the right training. So obviously, if you want to be a rocket scientist, you have to have that type of degree. But if you want to be in cybersecurity, data analytics, or manufacturing, you can get a certificate. In the US, there are certificate programs through community colleges and organizations. So anywhere along that continuum, there's an opportunity for training. You look for connecting opportunities, and that's the fourth step. Events like this, obviously we're going to be, as soon as I come off, I'll be back in the Zoom chat. If you have questions, please feel free to ask them. But it's about connecting, coming to events like this, connecting with other like-minded individuals, and looking for ways to continue to grow your model. And then the last step, or I even consider it the first step, is finding that mentor, that coach that can help you navigate that workforce development roadmap to help you find your place in the space economy. So again, look for those mentorship programs, whether it's through the UN, Women Tech Network, Women in Aerospace. I know Women in Aerospace has a Europe chapter, an Africa chapter, Canada, US, etc. So look for opportunities that you can join, find a mentor, start connecting, get that training you need, and of course, come to wonderful events that Sharon's put on today, where we can all find access and opportunity. So at that point, I'd like to stop and turn it over to our next panelist. And again, thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Ana and Shimrit and Malak. This is a wonderful opportunity, and I'm honored to be joining you today.
Thank you, Shelli. You are an inspiration and amazing, really, really empowering other women, really amazing. And now we are going to leave Shelli just for a while, because she will come back and she will answer all the questions, and we are going to supply all the wonderful names and links that she told you about, Space Foundation and all the rest. Don't worry, you're going to get it to your mail. So do we have Shimrit online?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. So go ahead. Shimrit, would you like to present yourself and tell us what is the mystery of this mystery spider? What does it mean?
No problem. I'm going to take over. So thank you so much for having me. And good evening, everybody. It's a great honor. Thank you, Shelli, for that great introduction. Hi, Malak. Thank you, Ana and Sharon. Yeah, that mystery of UN spider, I get that a lot. I'm often asked if I'm a spider woman.
You are a spider woman and
I'm actually a UN spider woman. Well, basically, United Nations has a platform that is called United Nations Platform for Space-Based Information for Disaster Management and Emergency Response. So if you take all that and make it to an acronym, it's actually called SPIDER, UN SPIDER. Basically, we use technology, space technology, in order to monitor and manage disasters and then apply our emergency response. And when I say we are the RSO, you said, what is the RSO? RSO is a regional support office. So I head the regional support office of UN SPIDER in Israel currently. And I'm also the director for the Earth and Planetary Image Facility at Ben-Gurion University. So I come from the academy, and I hope you're all seeing my presentation well. I'm just going to discuss briefly what kind of opportunities we have in the academy and what we do at Ben-Gurion University. So first and foremost, we're a research facility. That means we have groundbreaking research related into space. Now, my personal research deals with Earth observations and remote sensing, but we have in Ben-Gurion other space opportunities dealing with engineering and physics and mathematics and even management for space-based technologies, because basically you can wrap space in everything. We even have a hybrid lab dealing with programming of a space software. So we do research. That's our main scope because we are the academy. We have our own ground receiving satellite station because 3 years ago we launched our own nano satellite. It's called BGUSat. You could look it up online. So we had to build our own satellite receiving station for that. And for that, we actually need a lot of working hands, not only engineers, but technicians as well. From other points of view, we have research, we have a lot of ground-based equipment and supplies that support the research we do from space. For example, if we have climatic research that is applied from space, we need to monitor that on the ground as well. So we have our own meteorological station in the university, as well as other equipment that we use in order to validate and calibrate the satellite data. I am glad to say that we are one of 17 regional planetary image facilities of NASA. We have 12 inside the United States and 5 outside, so we are one of 17 as well. We have a lot of education and public outreach opportunities. We allow children in our lab. One of the things I say most is that I could talk for hours, but there's nothing like doing. If I allow the kids in the lab to touch the equipment and to see what they're able to do, that has a much greater effect than just hearing me talk. And we are the 25th regional support office of UN Spider that I will show you in a moment. So when I talk about remote sensing, it could be both airborne or it could be satellite remote sensing. This is Israel, by the way. If you could see, this is Beersheba. This is where I'm sitting right now. This is where the university is located. We have a lot of applications, and when I say remote sensing, we use all kinds of satellites from all parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, including optical and radar satellites that we use for detection and classification. We could see subtle changes from space, both in height and both in physical properties. So the identification of a material from space is feasible. We could see very fine details depending on the sensor we're using. Most of our research deals with some kind of aspect of either, I wanted to say Earth observation, but on the slide you could actually see Venus and Mars. So it's not an Earth observation, it would be a remote sensing sensor. But we have all kinds of applications, from military applications to environmental applications. And I'm just going to discuss, because I've been asked to talk about UN Spider, about our rapid response after a natural disaster. So one of the challenges we have, if we have a natural disaster, for example, this is the tsunami. This is one of the major tsunamis that hit our planet in the past years. Was the 2004 tsunami that hit Indonesia and Sri Lanka. It was a very big event because we had 250,000 people die in that event. A very tragic event. And by the way, 2 years later, UN Spider was established. So one of our challenges in such big disasters and that occur is to send the forces to the correct place. The thing is that if we have a hurricane or a storm or some kind of a typhoon, most of the time we won't be able to use optical satellites that penetrate the clouds over that area. So in that case, such as this in the tsunami of 2004, we used a radar image which penetrates the clouds. And what we did is we basically, you could see the blue line over here, we took a pre-image of the tsunami and we highlighted the coastline. Look only at the blue line at the screen. And then we took the post image, okay, after the tsunami, and you could, and you see, look at the blue line, but you could also see how the water penetrated inland. So basically this is a really hard sentence to say, but there is no chance for survivors over here. And I would not send an emergency response force to this place, but rather I would focus on other areas that are not flooded. Okay, so this is one way we use satellites. Now, if you look at the radar image on the right, this is the actual image on the left, this is how it looks on the ground. All the dark areas are the areas that are flooded, and there is not only a matter of where to send the forces, but also to show the forces how they could access, okay, where the roads are still available to drive on, and how we could actually be very responsive in an effective way. And these are all lessons that we learned from the 2004 tsunami. So following that, we did establish our regional support office in Israel. We've been doing a lot of research related to disaster management and emergency response. And having said that, we have a lot of training programs such as this one in South Korea, for example, that we took the algorithm that we have developed in our laboratory using a combination of both optical and SAR data in order to produce damage assessment maps very rapidly. Now, that's research point of view and spider point of view, but where do the women come in? So one of the main problems we do have in the academy is that in Israel, for that matter, and I'm going to talk about Israel, even though the numbers are very similar in a lot of countries. If we look at this infogram, you could see that most of the student body in Israel up to the PhD is composed of female students. But something happens once we go up the academic ladder. We see that there is a very sharp decrease in the numbers of women that stay in the academy. And we try to recognize this leaky pipeline and what it happens and target that. So we have a lot of different programs in Israel that try to help women with that issue specifically. But in the lab, we decided to even do something a bit more challenging than that and not wait to the stage that these women enter the academy, but we wanted to target the girls at an earlier stage. So we developed a high school program called She Space, which later on became international and involves countries from Brazil, United States, Germany, Israel. This year, we also have Spain, South Korea, Peru. So we wanted to affect these girls and to show them at such a young age that they could be a scientist if they just wish to. So they have to study a bit more physics or a bit more math. And we do encourage STEM education, but we also encourage STEAM education. We do emphasize the arts and the personal excellence and motivations of these girls. Targeting a higher educated audience in Israel, we have established a registered association, which is called WeSpace. WeSpace is a platform that provides networking and mentoring opportunities for professional women. And Dr.Ana Heller, that is with me today, is part of the advisory board as well. So I'm always asked about my personal motivation. So I'm going to say a word about that, and then I'm going to hand it over to Malak. And this is not a mistake. This is Hebrew, okay, in the pictures. It says, Lo b'shamayim hi. If you translate it on the biblical form, it's not in heaven. But if you translate it literally, it's she is not in the sky. And this is the moral of this biblical saying is that everything is possible. And I put that necessarily because of the she and the sky. And this picture specifically is my personal motivation. This is Yuval, my daughter. This picture was taken over 6 years ago because she's already 10. She's huge. And this is astronaut Shannon Walker that is currently, as we speak now, in the International Space Station. So she's just there. And I just want to say hi, Shannon, if you're watching this panel. My daughter asked me for several years in my career, why do I always bring male astronauts if there aren't any female astronauts? So we had a whole Women in Space conference in Israel in 2016, and I insisted of bringing and female astronaut. And it turned out great because Shannon is just absolutely amazing. And following that, I did start my career in more emphasized and more aware of the women. I wouldn't call it a women's problem because I would say this is a problem we have in society. We have to understand that this is not a problem of women, and we do not hate men. And there's a lot of great men in this conversation right now that I just saw you logging in and I saw your pictures, and thank you for being here. I often feel the need to apologize. This is a problem of society because once we do not have 50% of the women of the world, okay, of the participants of the world, we're losing so much workforce and so much diversity, and this could just progress everybody. So this is not a women's problem. This is a problem of society that we all have to work together with in order to solve. So thank you very much, and I'm going to hand the mic over to Malak, which I know she's going to be amazing because I heard her talk.
Thank you so much, Shimrit. You are inspiring and a huge inspiration in Israel for all kind of student girl and students. Really amazing. So now we know you are a Spider Woman too. And Malak, I don't know if I present you right because you are a futurist and a space lawyer, and you do so many things, important things. So would you like to share your life journey? You're very interesting. You're an autodidact, and this is super special because your path is very different from the others. And I would love you to share it with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Shimrit. Thank you, Shelli. I'm really honored to be here today. Actually, I feel myself, I'm the black sheep here. I'm not coming from a technical background. I'm not coming from an engineering background. I'm here, and actually, this one of this the strength that I bring to other women and other youth that I mentor is how could you make it from non-space sector into the space sector, and how you could pave the way to what you do right now. And actually, I'm very, very honored to be here to share my life, not life story, but my short story of my path into the space sector. So I would like to add also that I'm international business law and space law legal advisor, a futurist, multidisciplinary academic researcher, a writer. I write about space technology and raise awareness about space sustainability and how space technology can help us to combat issues like COVID-19. I have a lot of articles about that, and about climate change because I'm an environmentalist also. And public speaker also. I've been listening to Shelli about space economy, and it's amazing field. I'm making my PhD in international space law at KU Leuven University in Belgium. It's there is space economy in it, and sustainable development also. It's a kind of the matrix is space law, but it's a multidisciplinary PhD that I'm undertaking right now. So starting from here. So my path to space, from business to the space business, because actually my path started from in career-wise from business ventures. But my education and certifications came from, first of all, I have a bachelor in law and economics, double major. Was very, very honored to finish my bachelor with full GPA, 4/4. My first master's in public, international, and European law in Paris Sorbonne University with Paris Descartes University, and it was top of class students and the highest GPA in all the law students in the batch. Master 2 jurist in international business law at the same university, also PhD candidate right now. Artificial intelligence applications for business strategy from MIT School of Management. and certified international commercial arbitrator and arbitration consultant. Career path, so from sales and marketing to managing partner of a trading company at a young age, managing partner of hotel supply company, retail shops co-owner and operation director in UAE, law firm director and partner, then moved to legal advisors because actually at that time I was taking my master degrees, the 2 masters, 2 years, and I was going from Dubai to Abu Dhabi every day, back and forth after work. And it's a trip of probably 1.5 hours go like back and like to go and to come back to my house. It was 1.5 hours. So I slept very short hours, and I was determined to make it. And then a senior legal associate before I moved to the next venture, which I will present in a minute. So from earthly business, and here it started, and this is the secret of how everyone could move from any business venture into the space industry. Space industry is more strict than space economy, but if we want to talk about space economy, it is actually the space economy, it was defined by G20 space economy leaders meeting in Saudi not long ago. The full range of activities and the use of resources that create and provide value and benefits to human beings in the course of exploring, understanding, managing, and utilizing space. So it has various sectors, and there is downstream, upstream, midstream, and of course we are the clients right now using the ICT and technology, satellite technology. So before joining the legal field, I would go back on time to show where I came from. I was an international sales and marketing director in various international firms before founding an international hotel supply firm in 2006. And it became, after a year and a half, one of the leading companies in UAE and the GCC areas. Then also I founded a general trading company, enabled me to grab addition to managing business, to gain an extensive expertise within the luxury retail business, general trading practices, international business transactions, and international transportation, freight requirement, and cross-border banking and financial transactions. And from there, I went to the space law, but how I went to space law from the bachelor, from space, from law and economy, I went to legal advice in a law firm, director of law firms, and so on. Then I got to international space law, and this being an environmentalist, human rights advocate, and sustainable development activist, it all started with my worries about space debris issues. So the international business law practice paved my way toward handling legal matters related to commercial space activities, insurance contracts, and I will go into detail to that. So I assist private space actors in various legal matters related to international contracts, including negotiation, contract drafting, reviewing, and management. I also assist in meeting the licensing and permit regulatory compliance and space insurance requirements. I also help international investors from cross-jurisdiction, not only in UAE, like almost all over the world. International business law advisors, they need to have to know jurisdiction, national laws and requirements in order to advise investors. From there, I found my purpose, and here it's like driven by a purpose. And this is what I tell my people I mentor, and not only women. I mentor a lot of young people. They are in startups, and they are kind of a little bit lost in a way that they enter into startup, but they don't know how to handle, especially business-wise, because they are coming from academia. So let's say how I found my purpose. It was my academic journey, human rights advocacy, and pro bono help to combat inequality and justice and modern slavery. Also, my interest in sustainable development principles and as a driver, economic empowerment and gender equality related activities helped me to find a purpose, which is my raison d'être in French. Today, all my activities are revolving around the purpose. So I found my path by advocating sustainable space for humanity, and that's why I help people to enter into the space economy. I help youth and young ladies also to find a way, especially the ones they don't come from technical background like I didn't. For me, the technical background, I acquired it through the risk assessment in the space insurance contract with the satellites and with payloads and within all the regulatory requirements, especially in the United States. And the international space law also. So that's what is sustainable space for humanity that I advocate for. It aims to keep the peaceful use of outer space while ensuring socio-economic development, which is very important to allow people and from all over the world, especially developing countries, to access the space economy. And that for the present and future generation without deteriorating the outer space environment. So all the activities, like I said, I carried, switched to fulfill my purpose. So here, the purpose of sustainable space for humanity is anchoring sustainability beyond Earth boundary, where multiplanetary human species expand with ethics, values, and sustainable cultures. And actually, I assist in international conferences, and I write and publish like different articles related to this matrix right there. So the real shift to space driven by purpose, like I said. Am I still there?
Yes, we hear you. You are still here.
Okay,
And if you can address, please, what is a futurist? You call yourself futurist. Can you explain what you mean afterwards?
Yeah, because I cannot access anymore to my slides.
Okay, you can just do it in a free speech.
All righty. So from like what I explained right now, and how I found my career, and what I explained to the mentees, and is a purpose is very important. Find you a purpose. And the second thing, be strong enough not to be intimidated by people and circles. They are there for a long time in the space industry. Then when you are entering, you probably, and you will touch base about that, you probably will not be accepted, or you will not be welcomed and helped. And look for the people that they are there to help others, like you, Sharon, like Shelli, like Dr.Ana, and we have I got into a community that I thank God for it, because I've been working on within my own circle in law firms, within my contracts and everything. But when I came and this happened during COVID-19, I started being active in social medias and everything, and bringing communities together and mingling myself also and helping others. It's which is very, very important. Also, I would like to say, to give a hint to others, it's never too late for education. Actually, I started my law degree not at 20 years old, because I did not have the mean at that time to go and pursue like a very expensive education, because I couldn't have a proper scholarship. But now it's very, very easier for youth to find opportunities, to find people to mentor them, and to find like associations and organizations that are there to do that for them. So let's say all the roads take to Rome, all the roads take to space. Space is beautiful, space is big, space is is an opportunity for everyone. So never feel it's difficult, or it's going to take you a lifetime to make it through this path. Just find your way through, and the help of people that they are there to stand by you and to help you and show you the way around. And especially the people that, even if you don't need help, to have the nice kindness or to kind people that they will not bring you back or bring you down. And they tell you the nice, empowering words and empowering actions to keep you forward and not drag you down.
Malak, it's amazing. Thank you for all the great advice. I totally agree. We are on the same page on this one. And I would love to go now to the second part of our panel, if it's okay with you. Can you stop the share screen so we can see everybody? Because now we have a little surprise for somebody in the audience or not in the audience. Do we have a girl called Adi around here? She's present. Anna, if you can connect Adi. We don't hear you. Can you unmute yourself? Anna, please open her microphone. Thank you, Adi. You're unmuted now. Okay. So actually, Shelli, this surprise is for you. This is your sister-in-arm from the Israeli Air Force. She is a retired colonel, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, Shelli, Adi, Shelli.
So it's my honor to meet you and to see you, Shelli, and happy to see my sister. And I retired from the Air Force. I made my career in the Air Force. I was the first woman in the Air Force in the history that was nominated to be a colonel. And then I was the first woman from the IDF that was nominated to be a military attaché. And I was the only one, the only woman there. And I covered 4 countries in the same time: Poland, Czech Republic, Slovak, and Hungary. And I understood very well that I have to be the best one. I have to work very, very hard in order to reach the target. Because if I will fail, they will say that the women cannot be a colonel, cannot be a military attaché. If a man failed, so Mr. X cannot be a colonel. And I did it in order to open the door to other women. And after I finished my mission, there were till now only 2 more women as a military attaché from Israel. So it's a big honor to be a part and to take part of this event. And thank you very much, Sharon, for arranging a very exciting evening. And Shelli, I would like to ask you, I think that you mentioned it in your speech, but networking is a very important tool nowadays, very well. And in Israel, we know that the networking belongs to the men, men from the military, sleep together in a tent. So how you worked in order to expand your networking? I think it's very, very important for the women. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining, for surprising, and for your question, which is super important. Shelli, would you like to answer?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, what an amazing career. And the first part is it's amazing that you're the first woman, but what I really look forward to is the day when we don't have to say, I'm the first woman, or I'm the first African-American, or the first Hispanic, or we want it to be in space where it's equal, right? And we're all appreciated for that. But you know what? We need you. We need you to be a trailblazer. We need you to make it easier for the next woman and the next and the next, and that's what you've done. So thank you for being a pioneer and a leader and setting that there's a role model that women can look up to in Israel as well as around the world, because all countries, have to look at women paving the way for the next generation of women. And what we've learned is when we bring all diversity to the table, we bring new ideas, new insights, new innovations, and new solutions to problems that we didn't think we could solve before. So we have to think of bringing everyone to the table to solve problems. So thank you for sharing your journey. I'm amazed by it. And I hope that, as Sharon and I have talked, that I hope at some point I'll get to come to Israel.
Yeah, you will, sure, you will.
And we'll get to talk together and enjoy this together. The question.
Thank you very much for joining us. I know you're a very, very, very busy woman. And yes, Adishi is really a role model. And she broke so many ceilings, glass ceilings. And she was the shield for all of us, I think. And Shelli, you're as well. And each one of you, you are inspiration. And you're doing it not just for your own benefit, you're doing it for others. And you are a role model. This is very important. Like a parent to his children. It's so important what you're doing, and we are sharing, and the awareness, it will happen. And we are in a tipping point. This is the right time, the right moment to make the change. Each one in our own arena. But thank you. Really, this is an inspiration even for me. Thank you very much. You wanted to add something else, Shelli?
So I did. I wanted to specifically talk about the question about networking and how important networking is for everyone. So what I want to point out, if no matter you're a woman or a man, you're young or old, first thing you have to do is you have to have a resume, right? And this is really important for young kids who don't think about what is my resume. But if you want to apply for internship programs or unique experiences, you have to start writing down what your accomplishments are. And so starting with a resume is one of the things I love to talk to young kids about. But the other one is networking. A lot of times people don't understand the importance of networking, but it's building relationships and connections. And especially when you're younger, obviously I have lots of relationships from when I was in the Air Force that they're now generals, right? They've continued their career this way. I left the Air Force and continued my career, but they're in the US Space Force now. And obviously our relationships continue. So it's important to join organizations that you share a passion with. So I've shared in the chat with some people who are looking for like-minded individuals. There's also Space Generation Advisory Council is a wonderful organization to network with, to find like-minded individuals. Collaborate with Sharon and her group. Look for the Space Foundation Young Professionals, the New Gen program. Look for organizations that you can join. In the US, we have like Women in Aerospace and Women in Defense. And the Space Foundation does a Women's Global Gathering at our Space Symposium. And there are chambers of commerce, economic development, incubators, accelerators, think tanks, futurists. Find some organizations where you can find individuals that share your passion, build your network and your connections, because those are the people you can also lean on when you need support. That's something we've learned in 2020, resiliency. We've always had it, but 2020 has really shown us that resiliency as a skill set is important. And what makes you resilient is having strong relationships and connections. So I know this is a global audience, so I've really tried to share a very global perspective on some organizations that are out there, whether it's the UN Office of Outer Space Affairs has several groups, Women Tech Network, Space Generation Advisory Council, but there are local organizations. So look for those organizations that you can join to create that network that you're going to connect with, that as your career grows, you'll meet people, their career will grow, and eventually you and your friends will be leading the future space economy. So I hope that helps to answer the question.
Thank you very much, Shelli. Thank you very much, Adi. We have to speed up a little bit, but of course, you are invited to Israel. You're all invited to Israel, and you gave us great advice. networking is super important, finding somebody that will support you, and also volunteering. We didn't mention volunteering, but be a volunteer for several months, a year or two. It's a great way to start moving in the direction that you are aiming to. So now we have another surprise for the audience, actually for the local audience. Do we have Ronit?
No, I don't see. I don't think so.
Ronit is with us.
No.
Can you raise your hand if you are with us?
She's not.
She's not. Okay, so if Ronit will appear, and please raise your hand in the Zoom so we can see that you are connected, and we will unmute you. So I suggest that we will go to the questions of the audience. Ana, can you pick some nice and good questions?
Yes, I have a question here for Shimrit. Sorry?
Can you mention each question, the name of the person who asked? And
well, in fact, almost all the people are asking a very serious question to Shelli. Shall be ready? Because everybody wants to know how many people are you able to receive, because all of us want to go and visit you in your place in Colorado Springs. So how many are you ready to receive?
So obviously we're not open for business. I mean, we're open online. So please, I will put the link. You can join us on Space Symposium 365, which is our online platform for networking, learning, and connecting right now during COVID. But we anticipate, I can't shake the crystal ball, but we anticipate the vaccine rolls out. We're being told that average people, normal citizens like me, I'm normal, should get the vaccine in April and May. Each country is going to be different, but we hope that, as I said, August 22nd to the 26th, we plan to be open for business. We have our exhibit hall is completely sold out at the moment. So if you want to come, we're gonna have you come, and we look forward to you joining us. So again, 2019, 15,000 people. So we look forward to seeing you there, and I will put the online comments for you, as well as when travel is free again, or free to travel, not free. It's never free. I love coming to the UAE as well. Malak, I hope we get together and talk about great things. And Sharon, obviously Israel is amazing. I know there are people I just promoted, for those of you in Australia. There's a wonderful incubator there that is just open for applicants. I posted that on my LinkedIn site. So again, I post a lot of great information about jobs, not just in the US, but globally on my LinkedIn. I post about incubators around the world. I post articles about searching for jobs, executive information from executive headhunters. And so I share with you, if you're looking just for more information than what's already out there, follow me on LinkedIn. I try to post a lot of informational activities so that you can learn about the space economy, but also sharpen your skills. So if you're looking for a job, it will help you sharpen that resume for the next job.
Okay, thank you. Now for Shimrit.
Something for Shimrit or for Malak?
Yes, I have a very good question for Shimrit, a very interesting question. What kind of activities is UN Spider intend to do in order to be more inclusive toward gender equity? Shimrit?
Okay, yeah, I'm hearing you. Okay, UN Spider and UN in general work together, and these are some of the sustainable development goals target these issues specifically. We have sustainable development goal number 4, which is gender equity, and sustainable development number 5, which is equal education, and also SDG 10, which is inequalities. So UN is doing a lot in order to overcome this this gender issue. Both from, I could tell you from my perspective in UN Spider, we do have research going on about the different needs and the different effects of women in case of an emergency, or even how they're treated on a long-term or long basis following a disastrous event. But on other aspects, not just related to disasters, because SPIDER is related to disasters, we have a lot of activities going on from all kinds of mentoring opportunities, networking opportunities, education, reliefs. So it's on a very broad scale. Okay, Ana?
Thank you a lot. Malak, for you. Are you ready?
Yes, tell me.
Love you.
Me too, doctor.
We would like to know if you can explain us a little how are you doing for the situation of the space debris today?
Well, we are advocating so much, and we have amazing professionals from academias and others. They are in the space industry. They are working on different situational awareness issues and addressing these the debris problem, even though with international organization and also governments, they are making the effort to do it, but we need to have international consensus on guidelines that they are not just soft laws, mean like if we want to apply them, we apply them or not. So one of the aspects that I worked on academically is my master degree, my master thesis. It's about the role of private actors, especially the space insurer, to assert certain governance within the commercial space activities, how they could reduce the risk of having more and more debris over there, because this is the problem today. We have constellations are being launched per month. We have never been before, and the problem is like whatever we have as debris right now, it's not mitigated. It's still there. It's still orbiting, and still, you know, we are like the international community. They are making efforts, but the efforts, they are not enough. Effort is not enough. They need to make these launches steady a little bit and not going a rocket high, and try to mitigate what we have as debris. And there are different proposals from different bodies and Space Foundation. I know that you have some write-ups on it, and I get to your data for when I write about space economy also. Very, very nice write-ups that I have always. I'm gonna have an article, and most of the data, it is based on Space Foundation. And I'm so happy about that. So the problem is like, yeah, this issue of space debris is getting worrisome, and we need to address it. And this is one of the things I advocate. And I have a reference for that is Professor Moriba Jah, and he's working very, very hard to bring awareness and to propose, you know, make proposal about it. So yeah, that is the situation. I wanted to add also quickly that after talking about my journey, I founded two companies, two firms. One is Vernwell Space Solution. It's a space consultancy, and also it is specialized in tech transfer from one jurisdiction to another for the betterment of humanity. It's for profit. It's not an NGO. And the other one is my own legal advice firm. And I call all the mentees or whoever wanted to have to access, you know, work and collaboration with me within the UAE and everywhere in the world. I would love to collaborate.
Thank you so much, Malak. And I want to mention also, Malak, she's doing so many things. She's not black sheep at all. Yeah, she's also fighting human trafficking, which is very, very important. So we have time for one or maximum two more questions. Anna, if you can.
No, we don't have more questions.
Okay, so I would like to ask something.
Okay.
Actually, Shimrit, she's still online.
Yes, I am.
Shimrit, you are with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something because you are very unique at least in the Israeli ecosystem, because not because you're very professional, you are, but you're a non-military character. You're not pushy. You're quiet, you do your job quietly, you don't push anybody else. How can you promote yourself in such a difficult world that we just experienced? It's a global problem. How can you go on and climb and fulfill yourself when you have threats all the time, but you're not this kind of a person that will shove other people or be a fighter or whatever you want to call it?
So
What
you're
is the
actually,
alternative?
well, you're saying that on the basis of previous knowledge. I'm not a pushy person. I'm just not like that. I do believe in a lot in collaboration, and I think that's the main place future is going to. If you're going to be a person that works alone and gets everything done by themselves, you're going to learn soon enough that you just can't do the job by yourself. And even in the lab and even in the university, we have a lot of collaborative research because we believe in multi and interdisciplinary research that just enhances our vision and enhances our goals. We cannot do everything alone, and we just won't have the time or the ability to. So I do collaborate a lot. I believe in it on a spiritual level as well, and that's my method of working with people. I'm also a people's person.
Yes, Shimrit, for me, you're an inspiration. I really admire your way, and wow, super professional. And she's so quiet, but she's involved in so many projects in Israel, space project and other, that she's really great pride for all of us. And I have a question for Shelli, if we still have a few more minutes. Shelli, do you have still energies to answer?
Of course, it's only midday for me, so I'm
No problem. We'll go ahead. You said in your bio, you didn't speak about it today, but for me, it was very interesting to ask you, because you said, I stay true to my values. Many times in my life, I stayed true to my values, and I paid very heavy prices for that. What do you do when your personal value collides with other values? You were in the army, for example, it collides with I don't know, the security of your country or any other important values that will clash with your personal values. How do you solve that?
So I want to highlight that the values that I hold were very intrinsic in the Air Force. It was service before self, excellence in all we do. So I truly believe that I'm here to help provide a way for others to come into the space economy. So again, providing that service before self, and then again, the excellence in all we do. If you're going to do something, do your best. It's easier to do it right the first time than it is to have to do it over. And don't be afraid to try new things. That's how we learn and grow. And again, be the role model for others. Are there times where society has one perception of women? So in the US, women are smiling all the time and happy all the time and laughing all the time. So there's a perception that women are a certain way, but you have to find a way to show that women are another perception. Women have a seat at the table. Women are able to talk about science and mathematics and technology in a very articulate and well thought out manner. So there may be some societal norms that exist, but this is a good time to start looking at how do you break those down. There are a number of companies that are very passionate about what they call environmental, social, and good governance, ESG, and those are part of their ethos now. So if you're not working at a company that has your values, you can look for other organizations, nonprofits, government agencies that do share that. And if it is related to that, you know, ESG, which is very popular right now, very important. I'm seeing a lot of diversity and inclusion, not just at the UN, but around the globe, in the United States, with companies. Find a place where you fit and where you can be true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you have to look yourself in the mirror, you have to live with your family, and you have to do what's best for you. And that, again, remember we talked about building that network. Build a network that's like-minded like you. So when you have bad days, everybody has bad days. You have that friend you can call that tells you, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. This too, you will eventually be proven that you did the right thing. So you have to have that resilience. You have to have that network. And you have to define what are your values and what will you accept. I just listened to NASA astronaut Kathy Thornton last week, and somebody asked her, you know, what happens if it's not happening? You know, what happens? What if it's taking too long? And you know what she said? Keep at it. Keep at it. So you're part of the solution. So don't give up.
Great. Thank you. I will adopt that. And the last one for Malak. Malak, my dear, you're totally not the typical lady space woman. We are used to, you know, to think about the Arab society, at least what we see in movies, in programs. This is a very conservative society that usually silence women, that don't allow them to have their own say. So, but you're totally different. You have your own say. You have your own way. You know what you want to do. You're independent. You have your own company, and congratulations for the new company. How do you do it? How do you cooperate? It might be much more difficult for you. And do you pay heavy prices for what you do, for your independence?
Well, heavy prices, of course. Anyone or any, let's say, any human being trying to go out of the norms, one way or another, some group will make him feel an outcast. And I'm fine with it. It's okay. It's okay as long as I am true to myself. As Shelli said, it's number one thing. True to myself, following my purpose, do things for the benefit of others and not moved by self-interest, and work for the betterment of humanity and for my son's future, and for the daughter I did not have, for all the kids, the daughters that they are out there, that they are silenced, that they are treated in all kind of inhumane way. Of course, here, thank God, it's been a blessing that UAE, we have our rights, and you know, I dress how you see me on Facebook. You know, I dress normally. I dress short skirts. Maybe sometimes they could find it a little bit provocative. But guess what? I'm breaking the stereotype. I'm breaking the way that all these girls, they look at their mom and they are treated in a way, no, it's forbidden, you cannot do that. Well, as long as you are going within the matrix, the values and principles, that they are universal and not based on certain religion and not the other or whatever. For me, what's something that I also call is cosmic sustainable culture. That it's based on values, it's based on common denominators that every culture could share through understanding and through bridging, through making bridges and through peace. And actually, you know, originally I'm Tunisian, and I've been calling for peace between Israel and Arabic world since long time. And I had my friends, and I had people that they are very, very close to me. They are Jewish and they are from Israel since long time. When I started coming public about it, I got threatened from certain communities. And guess what? This is me. If I'm gonna die for peace and die for a cause, it's okay, be it. But you know something? I know that I'm paving a way for the future generation, that one day, maybe they will remember me, maybe not. But the day, what I say, when I know that I'm going to go away, I will have a smile and I say, I try my best.
Malak, you're amazing. Really, you are paving the way and a true inspiration. And I'm so grateful I got to know you. And let's thank Ian for this. Ian, if you hear us, thank you very much for introducing me and Malak and Bianca. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, we will call it a day. And I would like to thank this amazing, amazing team. Really, I couldn't be asking for a better team to start to launch the gala event of our space. Girls, you are inspiration. You're amazing. You brought from your own time and resources and thought, and we dedicated so much energy to everything. And I hope we fulfilled all the expectations of our audience. It has been a pleasure, the entire endeavor, the process and everything. Really great pleasure to me. I wanted just to mention that first, if you are now in the audience and you have a good links that can serve as a toolkit for the others, please put them on the chat. We are going to record the chat. We're going to keep it so we can send it afterwards to other women that can use it. And something that Shimrit mentioned before, we don't hate men. On the contrary, thank for all the amazing men that support, that share, that contact and ask me when I'm going to do the same panel for men. We are going to do everything for everybody, but I thought that women should be addressed because this is a severe problem. We have to figure out this is the right moment, the tipping point to deal with it now. And we will do many other panels for everybody, other people. And I would like to thank also, except of these exceptional, extraordinary women. It was a privilege to know them. Also to Melody from the Ramon Foundation. Thank you so much for your technical help. To Kfir from Space IL, and to the one and only Roger. If Nancy, she's in the crowd, you have an amazing husband. So Roger Weiss, you are one and only, and thank you for your help in any platform. I couldn't ask for more. So people, do the right thing, and when you get there, mentor other. Remember how difficult it is in the beginning. So be kind to other people, because there are good ripples in the world if you do something right. And if you share and you work in a team, like Shimrit said, you will influence others to go your way. You are paving the way and you are a role model. So this is my message to you. And thank you for being an amazing audience. Thank you for joining us. And I really appreciate it. And I would like to see you in the future in our next panels. Thank you very much and good evening. Anna, please just don't disconnect us, because we want to make maybe a photo of everybody. If you can put all the screens. Can you share screen with everybody, or the maximum of participants?
If everybody could just turn their camera on, then we would be able to take the picture.
Abre las cámaras, por favor. Open your cameras. If you are here, we want to see you.
Okay, so we're gonna take 2 pictures, okay?
And don't worry, we have Photoshop.
Okay, so wait, I'm gonna try to take the first one. I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, smile. I'm not sure everybody smiled, but we're just gonna.
You weren't? I don't see everybody, do you?
No, we don't. We're gonna have to do it a few times because not everybody fits on the screen.
Fake it till you make it. Try to fake a smile or a genuine one.
Okay. Just a sec, and then I'm gonna do the other. Okay, now I just have to move in the Zoom screen. Sorry, I just have to move to get the other. Okay, smile this group.
I am also taking, it's okay.
I think we got everybody.
It is
Okay.
so nice to see a lot of gentlemen with us. Thank you for coming. And actually, all our work without the support of men around us, we will not make it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you, everybody, for being here. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Anna, can you save the chat, please, so we won't miss all the questions?
Don't close, Shimrit, okay?
I saved it.
You save it?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Great. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.
I also save it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And good evening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you, Adi, as well.
Thank you, Adi. It was wonderful.
Amazing, Adi.
I look forward to having coffee with you, Adi.
Bye, people. Ciao a todos. Buenas noches. Good night for us, at least.
Thank you, my
Bye.
ladies.
Closing.
Everybody went?